Hello, hello, hello. Why is the camera so low? Okay, no, it'll be fine once I resume my actual position. Bill, how you doing, boss? I'm literally just gonna go and get coffee. My water's finished boiling, and I'll get cracking. So yeah, 20 seconds. All right, that is very much needed. Now, Bill, delete that, please. Just because it annoys me. It's not even because of like I don't care about spam and scams because I stand by my I stand by if you're silly enough to fall for it, then I can't really help you. It is a new one, bro. It is. Let's get it out of here, man. Um, yeah, but that one actually annoyed me. The fact that somebody will put in so much effort, and it's clearly written of AI. It's obviously AI, but it's just the fact that you're doing too much. Just drop the link. Say yo, quick followers here. Drop your link and go. You're here telling a story. Stop it. I had a very suspicious person in my DMs as well on Twitch. I don't really know. I don't think people often use Twitch DMs, but this one was a Twitch DM talking. But actually, I won't even go into it. But it was just annoying, man. I just get annoyed by just dumb things annoy me. Anyway, um, here's our spinning wheel. Here's all the DLCs that it could land on. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's very much possible that many of these would have been done already. I don't know every single DLC that I've done. The ones that I know 100%, um, I mean, I know I've done this, but I've added it there anyway. It is what it is. Who knows? But maybe some DLC will come out for it, and then or the extension gets released, the DLC comes out. So not DLC, the extension comes out, a new journey comes out with it, and then maybe who knows. It was a similar email, it was a similar DM that I got. I just ignored it. And the annoying thing is the person was real. So like we were having a conversation and it wasn't an AI. I was having a conversation with a person who was asking me questions, and I don't like it. You see, if you want something from me, I can appreciate you wanting to be a bit kind and whatnot, but if you're talking to me solely for the purpose of trying to sell something, be it legit or not, I don't like that. Just get straight to the point, because I have like artists in my DMs on Discord. They'll add me on Discord, and then they're trying to have this nice conversation just to tell me at the end, oh, hey, this is what I do. Would you be interested, basically? And when you say no, they keep trying to push and push and push, which is another thing that I hate. Completely separate topic, though. My point is, pop up to me and say, "Hey, hope you're doing well. This is who I am. This is what I do. Here's my portfolio, or some like some work that I've done previously. Basically, what do you think?" Anyway, run over. Fit in for a Monday morning, but yeah. Anyway, let's get cracking. I think I might as well like just hide this bit, right? Like it's not really necessary. It's just the will. That's what we want. That's the main thing is the will. But I do feel like I've done it. I've done this already. But anywho, who cares, right? So Nabil, it is interesting what you said last time about doing so choosing a route, doing one run of the journey mode, and then choosing another one. Which, like I said before, I'm not completely against, but I also feel like I prefer the structure of these streams to be a bit more organized in terms of focus. Like there's one focus, and I think, say for example, the request the route streams or the modded timetable streams, they are the streams where we're bouncing from route to route. And in all honesty, generally speaking, I don't think most people care whether I just do one route or not. And I think that's obvious with when we do the request the route streams. You'll see that there's not many requests. So I think with regards to the audience that I have, I think people are more happy to come and just chill, and whatever is on screen, they're happy to just chill and watch. I think there's a very, 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 very small vocal minority who will say, "Oh, actually, I want this or I want that," and take the opportunities when presented to have the stream go down that route, basically. So I think for now I'll leave it as I've planned it, which is basically right now, start of the stream, roll, I was gonna say roll the dice, spin the wheel, whatever it lands on, and we just, that'll be the direction of the stream today. But if, let's say, more people support what you said or they start saying it as well, then I'll consider it again, and go from there. Also, bro, could you do me a favor? I wanted to ask you this last week. Jackson, he said this before, and it's been a while, but he said it during one of the streams last week. I know, bro. I know. I'm even tired of ranting about that. Or not even ranting. I don't really rant much, but I'm just even tired of just mentioning that. It doesn't change anything. He mentioned about like reaction streams, which I'm completely down for, by the way, whether it's like short form videos or like a long form video. And I did tell him, like, look, I in a nice way, I said no one's going to be interested, or there's not going to be a lot of people interested. But I said, you know what? Let's work with the idea. I'll ask Nabil to set up a channel dedicated on the Discord for that. So I don't know whether it would be called something like reaction material or reaction stream content or something of the sort. Anything that really makes sense. And then basically people can post what they would want me to react to in that stream on that channel. So videos or I guess pictures, but preferably, video content. And then during that reaction stream, I would get all the material that we'll watch from that channel. And not only will that structure the stream itself, but also gauge whether there's enough interest in it. For example, if we create that channel and only Jackson and, let's say, you, for example, post there, then clearly is not something. Yeah, no rush. Then clearly it's not something that's going to be worth doing, dedicating time to. So, I don't trust that it's gonna take off. I don't believe it will, but let me actually see properly. Let's actually try it and then see, rather than me just assuming and then not doing anything. We'll try and switch things up, spice things up, be creative. But obviously, yeah, we are gonna need the community. No, I'm not doing a poll. That was one of the things I was gonna ask. Actually, as a matter of fact, no, sorry. Yes, let's do a poll. That was why I had Jackson write poll to me so that I can remember. Yes, that was the plan. We were gonna do a poll first. Thank you for even saying that as well. We were gonna do a poll first. That was gonna last maybe 3 days. As a matter of fact, I can do that myself, to be honest. about 3 day poll or 2 days. I don't know the times that it offers on Discord. And then if the response was positive, then we were going to open the channel. And then if there was engagement, then I would have done the stream. Yeah, that was the way it was going to go. That's crazy that you clocked onto it. Right, anyway, everything is shuffled on this wheel. Without much further ado, let's give it a spin. See what we land on. That is so close, Riviera line. I'm not mad about that. I've actually got a ton to do on the Riviera line. I am not mad about that at all. Cool. Thank you very much, Will. I appreciate you. That's a good shout. You know what? I purposely was only looking at my OBS because I've got it like very, very skinny and I can't see what's on the wheel because I don't want to know that I was so close to doing something fun, for example. So I was looking on the OBS where I can't tell what's written and I can only see the big window. So I don't know where Diesel Legends was, but yes, it is on the list, of course, because, you know, it's going to need to get done at some point, boss. It's going to need to get done at some point. Listen, it's not ideal. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not the most accurate. Where the hell was Great Western Express? Is it not G? Where's my Great Western Express? What have they called it? Okay, Great Western Express. Where is it? Oh, it's here. So yeah, as you can see, I haven't really done much. Even the two services, I don't know. Ah, okay, wait, one's an introduction. Okay, they're both introductions. Makes sense. So basically, in short, I've never, you know, I've never touched this touched this DLC. I think if I remember correctly from what they were saying, they were just trying something, and they saw that it didn't work, and that was why they never did it again. But I remember like Matt, someone else was talking on the stream back in like obviously TSW 2 days. That yeah, they wanted to basically try something, but it didn't really work out too tough. Right, Riviera line. I'll do this one because this is like the core journey mode, and then when we finish this, we can move on to the Voyager stuff. Cool. These are going to be a mix between IETs. Well, no, this one is going to be all IETs. These might be mixed, or maybe just 150 services. Stuart, thank you very much for the sub, mate. Appreciate you. And I guess this would be okay. This looks like it's 150s. I mean, it literally says it on the right hand side. I didn't even notice. This is class A02, but I feel like these are mixed. I do feel like these are mixed, but I guess ultimately we'll find out when the time comes. Anyway, for now, let's do 1 Alpha 39 Penzance to London Paddington service to Exeter. You'd rather have no journey mode names. I mean, can I ask you a question? What would you do? Say this is your game. I'm not. That's disrespectful. Hypothetically, let's say you work on this game, yeah, and you're in charge of the names of the chapters. What would you come up with, or how would you structure it? Like, what would be your inspiration for the names? Because I know you've been very critical, and you know what? I agree half the time. Oh, look at this, gorgeous. But I am interested to know how you would go about it. Once again, we have been blessed by the real life weather mod, giving us an absolute beauty of a not environment, just beautiful weather basically. Because I guarantee, should this have been the regular put them on full. Should this have been the regular weather that would have been assigned to us by force, it would not have been. It probably would have been raining. I'm not gonna lie, but like the clouds, the amount of clouds are perfect. It's perfect. Dare I say? Dare I say? Right. What else do I need to do here? It's been a while, man. Turn on everything at the back. There's not really much left to do inside the cab other than just start the bloody train and crack the doors open. Yeah, there's not much for me to do here. Should I get my controller out for this one? I feel like this is a controller. No. I'll stick to my mouse and keyboard. Base it on facts. Well, yeah, but the in terms of what trains are in the chapter, it usually says it on the right-hand side box. When you hover over the journey, the chapters, on the right-hand side, it will tell you what the trains are for that chapter, like we just had a look at. They don't need names. They don't need names at all, if we're being honest. But I don't know. I'm not mad about it, man. It's cute, you know? Like, ultimately, like, it's a game, right? It's a sim, but there's some fun aspects here and there, for better or for worse. So I'm not upset about it, you know? I'm not upset about it. It's just sometimes they can be very cringe, and that's like worst case scenario. I'm just gonna be like, oh, I didn't like that. I don't like that at all. But it will always be annoying. The fact that, what will always be annoying is the fact that, you know, I'm not against stuff like that being in the game, but it's just like, it is a bit of a slap in the face when there's other areas of the game that need tending to and creativity, you know? The question is, with regards to that though, Nabil, is journey mode intended to be a career mode? I play the journey mode because it's close, as close as possible to a career mode. But realistically, there's no other structure in place to say that this is intended to be some. You know, like, it's not like there's no. It doesn't make you aware that you're a person in the world, for example, right? You don't start in like an office, for example, or you don't start in a place that would make sense for you to start in for a shift, right? You just it's like there's all the journey mode is a collection of hand picked services. Why they're hand picked and what caused each service to be picked, we don't know, but that's what it is. And as long as it's not marketed as such, as in like this is some sort of journey mode, I'm fine with it. It kind of is what it is. There's not real goal. There's not really a goal of the journey mode, which is in line with the point I'm making. Again, if there was a goal, that would be some sort of structure to imply that this is meant to be seen as some sort of journey mode where you progress. There's no progression. There's no goals. You don't achieve anything. You just drive, you know, a number of services. I guess in the only more so than it being a career thing, I think it's a game thing. Like they've sort of gamified it in a sense that they've given you almost things to do, and when you've achieved them, you get a nice little tick or a gold medal, for example, just to say, hey, you've completed this. So I think it's more so they've gamified it as opposed to making it feel like this is some sort of you're a character that's on some sort of career path as a train driver. And I'm pretty sure many times in surveys they've said, you know, when they have that page of, oh, what would you like to see, and you can choose all these things that they're thinking about, and career mode has popped up a lot of times. So I think, yeah, it is quite clear that it's not Dovetail's goal for this to be seen as a career mode. The entire level and progression system has no goal on purpose. No goal on purpose in terms of, it's not like there's a maximum level you can reach, I don't think. You know, it's not like you get to a level. I'll tell you what's like, the only thing that really has a purpose is the mastery levels, is the mastery stuff. Because you have a set of goals and objectives, and once you achieve those objectives, you're given a reward. Right now, it's just some posters and stickers. You know, it's not really enticing, but a lot of people are engaged in it. We won't even talk about how broken that entire system is. But nonetheless, that is the only part of the game. I was going to say in my opinion, but I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's quite obvious. That's the only part of the game where any achievements actually matter. Like, yeah, you can try and get good action points, or you can try and get a platinum level, or sorry, a platinum medal or a gold medal, but ultimately nothing else follows that. You do your run, you get what medal you get, and then you leave. There's nothing more to it. The only thing that actually rewards you is the mastery stuff. And maybe to some people a gold medal or a platinum medal is rewarding, and that's why they play. For other people, it's achievements, as we discussed recently. But aside from that, the rest of the game, no matter what they call it, how they market it, the rest of the game is simply just train driving. My guy, since they introduced the new mastery with like the sticker as a gift, or some posters, the thing has been broken. And look, it's obviously not something I'm interested in myself. I've never participated. I don't think I've even thought about it, but I can appreciate its existence, and it's very clear if you visit the forums that there are people that are interested in it. But nonetheless, you've created something, not sold it, but you've marketed it in such a way, and the thing has just been broken since the beginning. And it's like, it's quite important. It's like you're somebody who's actually going for it. You'd want to track your progress. For example, a goal for a month can be travel this many miles or walk this many meters. You half the time, the way the mastery is broken, you're not going to know your progress, because the thing doesn't update, and it can only update, from what I've seen, from Dovetail themselves. They have to restart or refresh something, and then it gives players the correct data. That's ridiculous. You're telling me this thing wasn't tested then? Not like that's not a pattern that we've seen over many years. But it does make me thankful that there is no career mode. Let's be honest. Because if there was a career mode and I'm aiming for some goals, maybe let's say I'm a train driver on a salary, or I'm trying to gain enough XP to move to a new train operating company, or to be licensed to drive a different kind of train. I'd want to see my progress and how well I'm doing. Imagine you're actually trying to play the career mode in a hypothetical situation where one exists, and you can't see your progress. You're going from level 1 to level 2. You don't see the bar. You don't know how far you're leveling up. You don't see how close you are from getting a license to another train or being eligible for another company. It would be completely pointless. It would be literally the same as the game is now. It would literally be the same. Nothing would change. It might as well not exist, and I'm glad that it doesn't. At the end of a Zusi run, you will get a rating of your driving performance. At a perfect score of 100% is possible if you follow all operational procedures correctly. The evaluation is very strict. Even small mistakes like causing a delay, bad driving style, for example, harsh braking, or an emergency brake will lower your score. Every detail of your performance is taken into account. See? And it does that accurately. Sammy, welcome, my man. Good to see you again. How you doing? How was your week last week? That's the thing, Nabil. I'm sure that Zusi does all of that stuff, measures everything accurately. So let's say we would try to do this similar thing here, because the game tries at the end of your run. It tells you, isn't it, how your points and what were you based on your when you were speeding, when you were not using your safety systems, not using your wipers. It doesn't do it in as much detail as Zusi, but there's at least something. There's a foundation there. But even that simple foundation isn't measured correctly. Sometimes you'll have safety systems on, it will say your safety systems were off. It will penalize you for not using your wipers in a tunnel. So imagine I'm doing a Bakerloo line run and it terminates before Queen's Park, for example. I can never even see that it's raining outside. If I start from Elephant and Castle and terminate somewhere before Queen's Park, I'm never going to see the weather. I don't know it's raining, but the game's going to penalize me for not using my wipers in the tunnels, in the dry. Whatever you focus on, what makes it quote unquote trash, or the idea of it trash, is the bugs. The game is just broken in every aspect. Sounds, the stuttering on on some platforms, the sounds are bugged. The visuals, blurry textures, general gameplay. There's all sorts of different bugs. The UI, the UI might as well be bugged. It's just not good at all. Like, it always comes down to just the game being in the state that it's in. Like, it doesn't give you promise. So let's say, for example, we switch the conversation, and again, I'm going to use the example I always do. Let's switch the example to Euro Truck. Let's talk about if Euro Truck had a mode, or they brought in the functionality to walk around, or to be able to feed your character and sleep in hotels and stuff like that. Anytime we have those conversations where we talk theory or hypotheticals in Euro Truck, we always talk very confidently. What if they did this? What if they did that? And the only negative comes from how slow the game's developed over the last 13 years. But it never actually comes from, oh, SES, knowing SES, it would be trash. Knowing SES, it would be bugged. Oh, they could do this, but look how they did the other thing. You never hear that. And it gives you confidence for what might come. I want a career mode, but I'll be very honest with you, genuinely, I don't actually want the game to implement it. I wouldn't want DTG to implement it. Simply because I do not believe that it will be implemented bug-free. It is impossible. It's impossible. So I would rather they don't. And I've said before in the past, my dream route would be 2000s District Line. I don't want them to do it. If it comes into the game, either I would want a third party to do it, not Rivet, not DTG, not actually, you know what? I'm happy to give other ones a chance. And I just wouldn't want it to come now, with the core game being as broken as it is, because you could have the highest quality developer come into the game as a third party creator, and there would be issues with their content because of the issues in the core. So it would be like it's like a fantasy for me to see that route, but I don't actually want it to come into the game right now today. I don't want it in the game. Really, Sammy? I hope it's nothing too serious, mate, that can't be sorted out. Lock in, my man. Have your Tenzing at hand. New week. It's a Monday. It's gonna be tough, but let your efforts and your mindset be your foundation for the rest of the week. Well, Nabil, you could argue on the topic of safety. If in a storm a driver decides not to use his wipers, then he has made the decision to um, have a negative impact on his visibility. There's a word I want to use, but it's not coming to my mind. I've had about 6 hours sleep in the last 2 days, and that was all last night. So it could be argued. It could be argued. Oh, Jesus. It's not great, you know. It doesn't taste nice. I like the fact that coffee is healthy and like it does what it does. Very useful thing. Good stuff, coffee. Honestly, mate, you're killing it. Look at everything here is blue. By the way, I'm trying to put you guys on. Social markets. Join up. There's about 12 different trades there, and they're all blue. So far, since I've turned the temporary speed limits on, temporary speed restrictions, I haven't turned them off. They have remained on for longer than they were on when I first had the game, when the game first released. I think they lasted about, I think it was like the first one I saw. Or was it the second? I think the first one was a bit buggy. Yeah, the first one had all the signs misplaced. So I didn't understand it relative to what I was seeing on the HUD. It didn't like sync. And then the next time I saw it, which was very close to the previous time, because that's something I'm going to touch on. The next time I saw it, it was glitched into a platform, one of the signs. So I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. And I turned them off. And it's been, what, 4 months since? And my second point, they've actually been quite decently spaced out from each other, even though I'm on different routes. And realistically, if I'm on different routes, actually, no, generally speaking, in the game, you would want to see it. No, I'm not going to get into the technicalities. This game is not on that level. Just in general, I haven't been seeing them often, basically, which I'm happy about because I shouldn't. Now, if the game was a bit more advanced, I would say I wouldn't want to see it often on one route. Let's say I do one run on West Coast Mainline South, another route on Navica Dresden, another one on West Cornwall Local in like the same day. I shouldn't be mad because they're all different routes. Pardon me. And so technically, in terms of realism, one route wouldn't affect the other. Maybe they all had TSRs that day. But no, this game is not that advanced. And so I think you have to see it from the perspective of just a game rather than simulation. Talking about situations like when it starts raining lightly and the driver doesn't turn on the wipers right away, the game will say use them too late. I didn't know about that specifically. It's kind of like on Bus Simulator 21, we get penalized for leaving a turn signal on for too long. What? So even if you signal early, it's just a smart thing to do. The game thinks you're using it for no reason. Okay, that's just silly. But these are the things that differentiate Sims from games. Which I guess your point about the wipers specifically even sort of supports my point as well in saying that the game is just not developed enough. It's just not advanced enough. It's very basic because the game will not be able to understand light rain. When it's talking about safety systems, the game doesn't differentiate light rain and heavy rain, and it was just spitting a little bit. All it knows is was it raining or not. There's nothing further advanced, and it's ironic because Simulgraph, we can meme on it all day, but Simulgraph is advanced. Simulgraph is actually very advanced. It's incredible. It's an incredible tool for train simulation. It's not like world leading technology, but within the closed sphere of train simming, it's very cool. Very, very cool. You can make all sorts of different things behave according to how they would in reality, or close enough. So if for it to be believable. And I do wonder, I should say, is Simulgraph on its own more advanced than the entire game? Like, if the game was as let me just say as good as Simulgraph is on its own. If the game was as good as Simulgraph is, I feel like we'd be in a much better place. A much better place. Also, there's no sounds, which never gets pointed out. I don't understand. How do you guys watch the stream and you don't hear any train sounds? But that's the whole point of the stream. You just watching me talk with some music in the background. Like, it might as well be a just chatting stream. With like the equivalent of like Subway Surfers on an Instagram reel playing in the background. I think the game targets too broad an audience to be a game for people who just want to push the lever forward and drive out of the stage. I'm catering to those who want to play a professional over detail. How can Thomas and an Expert 101 be in the same game? Yeah. And that is its kryptonite. But at the same time that is its kryptonite, it's also why the game is as popular as it is. Because yes, it targets a broader audience. Especially, it targets a broader audience in general, but then on top of that, it's one of the very, 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 very few train sims on consoles. So whether you're a hardcore simmer or a child, you've got both, because you'll find both on console. And I think the people who want a more hardcore simulation experience will always get the short end of the stick, because if from the moment that you're gonna have very basic functions in the game, you've ruled yourself out as developers of a sim. Like OMSI. See, I say that, but then I think about Microsoft Flight Sim. Now, Microsoft Flight Sim isn't the default planes aren't hard, like super hardcore, right? But they're hardcore enough that somebody like me can't just go in and fly. There's enough level of detail that makes it a sim. But then you've also got Halo flying spaceships and fantasy aircraft. But it's still a sim though. So, I don't know, that renders my point invalid, to be honest. Hello, Mr. Suits and trainers guy, but never at the same time, I hope. How are you doing? But that is a good question anyway, but how can Thomas and Expert 101 be in the same engine? But, how can the Halo spaceship and, I don't know, an A380 Neo or whatever be in the same game? The basic plays are not on a professional level. Okay. So why would somebody like me need to study before I can go in and fly those planes? Because I cannot now load up Microsoft Flight Sim, go into one of their airliners and just drive. Just fly, sorry. No, I mean, yes. Again, we can. Like I started off with. The default plays in Microsoft Flight Sim are not on the levels of some of the third party stuff. I opened my statement with that. I understand, but what we have by default in the game is still like replicated enough to the point where somebody would need to study before they can fly those planes. It's not just come in and fly. The same way to drive an Expert 101 with the faults and stuff on, it's not like driving the default 101. There is also some sort of having the manual beside you, or needing to read something or watch something in order to be successful in driving that train. But then we also have Thomas, the tank engine. You can't do what on OMSI, sorry. Like get like fictional buses in, for example. Busy and tired, Dan. Did you rest over the weekend? It's just a more complex matter overall with aviation. It's quite harder for me to get in. Can I say yes and no? Because ultimately, for example, as long as somebody knows the buttons for going backwards and forwards on here, they can drive any train. The complexity comes from if they want to now follow the safety systems, or like approach, maybe it would take a newbie some time to get accustomed with stopping at stations properly. I saw mark outside the platform because the length of the train, and it doesn't really affect the passengers because these doors will remain closed due to SDO. And also, if you go to the back, you got sort of the same situation. Although I could have gone a bit more. This door should be open. I stopped a little bit too short. But it's basically to like min-max, get as much of the train into the platform. Just having my time wasted. Traveled to Manchester on Friday to collect a bunch of demo kit. Set it all to test today, and the customers cancelled the event. That's very crappy, Sammy. Very crappy. But on the flip side, let's look at it positively. You got to travel a little bit. I doubt you would have gone to Manchester, on Friday, for anything else. You got paid for it. You must have got paid for it because it's work. So you got paid for a little trip, I'd say all in all, the bad thing is that perhaps maybe any plans you would have made around that are now rendered void. I did, Sammy, yes, I did want some feedback. Banging runs like butter, no bugs that fun other than running platforms and getting stuck at reds. God damn it. What am I doing wrong? What am I actually doing wrong? I keep saying this. I need to actually research what settings they've got on PS5 relative to PC and apply that and see, because I just don't get it. But then I think even if I was to do that, I've run the game on like low settings with DLSS and the performance is still whack. So how have they done that? That you can force through a red using the onboard computer. Need to look into. When you say getting stuck on reds though, Sammy, do you know that like sometimes there can be signal failures and like other like random issues? But then usually the dialogue would start if you were at a red signal that had gone down. So if you were just stuck at a red with no like information, could be a bug. And I guess if obviously if it's been reported multiple times and the devs have acknowledged it, then yeah, obviously. But it could also just be that. Tim told me that his performance isn't great on his end. Interesting. Because Jackson was also saying that he was good in terms of experience. In terms of, his gameplay experience. And performance. This was timetable mode. There are random events on timetable mode as well, Sammy. There are random events on like both. Basically, as long as you're driving the train, you can encounter random events. Now, say like you create your own run in a sandbox or whatever. That I don't know about. But I know you can have random events in both timetable and career modes. The only time things will be fixed, I believe, would be the scenarios. Which makes sense. Overshot the platform. Oh, I see. Okay, so that sounds similar to what happens on here. Whereby if there's a signal at the end of a platform and you overshoot, you reverse, you've already triggered the red signal, and it's waiting for you to clear, but it doesn't know that you've done all of the reversing and stuff. So you basically just brick the whole thing. You call the dispatcher. The dispatcher's confused. He doesn't know what to do. And yeah. Saw someone on Reddit say you can request getting password at 20 kilometers an hour using the computer thing. Yes, one of the recent updates. I think a couple of the recent updates where to bring realistic functionality onto the systems inside the cab. So fair play if that's one of them. It's worth actually. They say that they've implemented it according to real life. Maybe not every single thing, but what they have implemented is as according to reality. So it would actually be worth researching how it would be done in reality and then using that knowledge in the game. However, realistically, that's something that should have been taken care of by the devs themselves. If they've implemented it as per reality, they should have released a manual or some video guides on what to do if X happens, what to do if Y happens, what to do if Z happens, etc., etc. Not sure how much replay value it has, only having 3 routes and 3 rolling stock. Yep, that's been my my concern for the game since the beginning. Aside from the performance, like they can sort the performance out and it could be super smooth at high settings, but I still wouldn't play it maybe more than, let's say, once a week, just due to the fact that there's not much more to do than what I've already done 1,000 times over. And yes, the random events can spice things up, and they really do, but even that after a while doesn't save it. This coffee has done me a great deal of good, I'm not gonna lie. The nature of train sims, right? It's easy for me to fall sleepy, especially if I'm tired. And I could just tell by the way my morning went, I need some coffee beans. And like I said earlier, I'm very happy that they're natural and actually good for you. Coffee is good for you. If you don't have like sugar with it and all this processed stuff, coffee is actually good for you. And I love that for humanity. Starbucks has come to corrupt the goodness of coffee. But hey, you know, I've never had like a tasty Starbucks. Can I just be honest for a minute? I've never had a tasty Starbucks, and I've had the latte with the caramel and the this and the that and the cream. Number one, I've never been able to taste the cream inside a coffee, be it at Starbucks or anywhere else. And it does seem to me that unless you're gonna spam your coffee with sugar, which, to be honest, no longer really renders it as coffee. It's now become a coffee flavored soda or soft drink, because I'm British, not American. You've moved away now from it being a coffee. So realistically, coffee will always be coffee. It will always taste crap. And when you get to the point of doing enough to it that it no longer tastes like coffee, then it no longer is coffee. But coffee flavored sugar, or coffee flavored cream, or coffee flavored caramel sauce. They don't pay any UK tax. Really? How have they gone around that? That was a thing. That came about in like 2014, I think, Sammy, right? When that first came out. That's a throwback. Everyone just kind of forgot about that. There was a whole thing about that. Oh, no, wasn't it that they pay like 50p or something stupid? Or am I thinking of another company? Am I thinking of Google? There was one corporation that paid literally like something like that, either 50p or a pound or something like that. Oh my god, Nero. Nero. They're a really small company. I forgot about them. I feel like I used to see them a lot, like way more often than I do now. Now Cafe Nero, you'll find one here, you'll find one like 10 miles away, you'll find one. It's like there's one per area of London. Also crap to work for, yeah, fair enough. I feel like a lot of those types of places. I feel like there are certain places that you work for to kind of, you go there temporarily. It's not like McDonald's or any coffee shop, unless it's like some local family-run place. I feel like a lot of these places are just like a leg up, basically. So you sort of just clench your teeth and take it. Although I say that I haven't worked at Subway for 5 years. Although, to be fair, I was applying like a madman. But I was very focused on what I was applying. It was specifically railway stuff. And I eventually got it. Starbucks do a nice hibiscus iced tea lemonade, however. But see, that's the thing. Now we've sort of gone to juice. Don't raise your pitchforks at me. I know it's iced tea. It's cool. I hear that. But if we're talking coffees, you know, they pay a license fee to the parent company. Starbucks is a parent company. I guess I should have seen that coming. Which means Starbucks UK technically makes a loss every year. Can't pay tax with zero profit. That's nuts. The license fee is millions. That's crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, in this world of business, yeah. If I had a big business, I'm going to look at ways to avoid paying tax. It's simple as that. I'm not gonna go and look to pay tax. I will pay what I need to pay by law. But if there's a loophole I can exploit, I will exploit it. Like, let's be honest. That's just the world of business, man.
We are now approaching.
Oh, you wait, today, Nabil? Get away with it, do absolutely. Absolutely. I read a worrying fact talking about sort of like business and wealth and stuff. I read a fact last week, I think. I sent it to my missus. Let me see. We send each other too much. Basically, there's a lot of millionaires and billionaires that have left the UK to go and live in, just left the UK. I'm sure a lot of them went to Dubai or whatever, but the issue is they've left the UK. And I just wonder how much of an effect it's going to have on the economy. Like, there's only so much going against your own people that this country can do before it collapses on itself.
This is Newton Abbott.
Like once upon a time,
This is a
laws and stuff like that used to like bolster the rich, and then you'd have the people that enjoy poverty complaining. But now even the rich suffer, who are actually like at least somewhat helping the economy, which in turn is helping the less fortunate. And now they've gone. I really feel it. I feel like Rick and Morty, how like in like the first season they left like a version of Earth, and it just became like a Mad Max type of thing. I really see that coming for the UK. It'll just be everyone for themselves. Everyone will be just dressed in like baggy cloth with tribal paint on our faces, fighting. You know how like pigeons are in abundance. It will come to a point, yeah, if things keep going how they're going. This is my theory. This is my speculation. Pigeons will be so valuable as food, and they're gonna start becoming rare because all we can do, all we all be able to survive on are pigeons, and we'll be fighting and killing each other over pigeons. You started yesterday evening a bill paying, bro. You should have waited for the internet to come through, man. That would have been your first like test of it, bro. Dan, you see, if we go to housing, you get taxed for selling your house. You get taxed for buying your house. It's dumb. To get your granddad dies and he passes down his will onto you. You get taxed on that. You wanna pass your will onto your kids. You get taxed. I mean, bro, like the understanding I have of government is taking care of its people, leading its people. Government is now now you get to government to protect yourself, and to protect those around you, and you now see the state as the enemy. Your people are the people, your people who are in your hands. You see them as the enemy. I've never seen a country, I've never heard of a place that fights against its own people so much. It's like in nature. You know how sometimes in nature, for one reason or another, in the animal kingdom, a parent will discard his child. I saw a video the other day of a kangaroo running in a suburban block, and the kangaroo it dashed the baby. The kangaroo just threw the baby away. And then I was reading through the comments that sometimes it does it for survival. So the person that was recording that, maybe the kangaroo felt threatened, and so it just dashes baby away. I feel like that's what's happening in the UK with our government. We're meant to be like, it's babies, but it's just throwing us to the wolves. It's felt threatened by something, and its immediate reaction was just to throw us away. I only had German DLCs installed for now, and want to have the British stuff now, and Bros of Life and everything. My guy, listen. We go through it every time a new iteration comes out. Trust me, man. I know. It's so off-putting as well. It's like you've uninstalled the game for a while and you've uninstalled all the DLCs. If you actually want to come back to the game, but you're a bit 50. You're a bit on the fence about it. The thing that will push you off that fence back to not playing is the thought of having to reinstall all of those DLCs. The more you earn, the less you pay to, at a certain point anyway. Well, yeah, at a certain point. But then you get to a point where when you start earning, what's it, 45k or 50k or whatever, you start paying, you now, your salary ends up being less than when you were earning 40k. So, yes, but to a degree. And if you look at businesses, oh my god, they pay a ridiculous amount. Like when we talk about the whole tax the rich stuff, we're talking tax the rich, because you could have millions from businesses or whatever thing you've built, and taxes are chopping you. You're not catching a break. It's just a constant battle. It's a constant battle, man. But it's a battle that should never be a thing. It's a battle. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a battle that should never take place. I'm sorry, I can't have the light on here. It's ridiculously bright. That's blinding. I'd love like a desk light, maybe, or some sort of light. Let me quickly. Like the reading light, for example. Yeah. I can do this. I'm happy to have this. Or what if we turn this off and go to desk illumination? Oh, is that part of this? No. Where's the desk light then? Where's the desk light? I don't know where the desk light is. Downlighter, I've got no clue what they're talking about. Anyway, all I know is I'm happy to have the reading light on. Eat the rich but pay me. Alright, Sammy. Enjoy it, my friend. Good on you taking her out. Tinmouth. This is a cool little run. I like this. It's gotten dark quite quickly. We started with some beautiful pink skies. And I feel like that was not that long ago. But anywho, we moving. I do want to experience now. I don't know if the compatibility has been sorted between it and a different mod that I'm also using. But I do want to experience the mods where you can have like a wave splashing onto the track on a windy day. Like if there's a lot of wind, there has to be like a lot of wind, and I think it's just that. I think it's just if there's a lot of wind, there's a mod that causes the the spectacle which the whole route is known for, which you would have thought Dovetail and River would have tried to do something about. Anywho, with the real weather mod on, it would be cool for that just sort of just happen unplanned, unexpectedly. And I do hope, like I said, that the compatibility between it and the different mod, I think it was just like a Riviera enhancement mod, is sorted as well, because the enhancement mod prevented that mod from doing its thing. I wish I could remember who it was that asked about this route last week. Was it Carter? I don't remember if it was Carter or not. If it was him, this is one of the rare times where I would hope that he finishes streaming before I do, so that he can come and have a look at this one for himself. It still baffles me sometimes, the thought that River, well, this is basically a River product. I do not mind them being a second party developer if, this is what they're going to be cooking up. I do wonder if we would see any nuclear freight as AI. I know there are drivable services, but it would be nice to just catch one here and there. Yes, Nabil, that's the description of the mod. Is there anything about, does it talk about compatibility at all with the enhancement mod? That looks very nice. This is why Jetwash's mod is important, you know. I think this might be the first time playing this since installing his enhancement pack. It took so long to come. And I remember all of that did not look as good as it does there. Oh, the comments say it doesn't work anymore? Oh. Like the most recent ones? I was reading on the I read on the forum recently about that, and it seemed the people that were talking about it were speaking about it like it works completely fine. It's interesting. The only not working instance of it that I knew of was, like I said, when you had the the enhancement mod for this route active, which I do. I'm a fan of this train. I think a big part of that is driving it on the route that it runs on, because let's say this was another East Coast Main Line type of route. I don't know if I would enjoy this train this much, which is always an interesting eye opener. Because let's say, for example, it was electric, and the same train that we had on East Coast Main Line was the same one that ran here. Just hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, I would enjoy that train. It does make you consider every time you mention a favorite train or a favorite route. I think it's a combination. Because I like the 465, for example. But let's say I was driving the 465 on the East Coast Mainline route. Would I still like it? Part of me wants to say yes. But honestly, I really don't know. My mates used to say that if we started the company together, I can't be the CFO, as I would most likely get done for fraud in the government and tax evasion. Listen, that's why it's got to be legal. That's why you got to really do your research into loopholes. So that, let's say, the government's not happy about something and they come at you, you can just say, well, you know, X, Y, Z. Interesting, 29 days ago, and there hasn't been any update since then. So that implies it don't work, which is a shame. It's a proper shame. I mean, all it would take is some communication between the two devs, you know? Or even a collaboration on the enhancement mod, so that that becomes part of the wave splashes become part of the enhancement mod, and then the developer is also given credit for that. That would be the easiest way to sort it, you would think. Well, yeah, Nabil, but the other comment doesn't say that it is working alongside the enhancement mod. I don't believe there's any issue with the mod itself. The issue is when you also have the enhancement mod for Riviera Line installed, then the waves don't show. Okay, but I'm certain that the people who say it doesn't work. I completely missed the comment saying the recent game updates have broken it. That I've got no idea about in terms of the effect that those updates have had on the mod. Also, touching on what I was saying about this train being enjoyable here, because you spend quite a bit of time on, well, not driving at 100 miles per hour, when you finally do get to stretch your legs a bit, it feels good, feels nice, feels rewarding. I mean, I think the proper way to test that number would be to just have the wave mod by itself, set the high wind speeds, and go by a wall and see. So then you can see whether the mod works by itself, and then testing its compatibility. But that would be cool anyway. It would be cool. Although, I do wonder if it's worth your time if you're doing it for the sake of the conversation. Because I'm not looking to have that experience, but I'll be very happy if it just happens, I guess it would be cool to know for sure whether it works or not. But if you tell me that it does, it's not like I'm going to make it happen. I'm doing it now. Okay, fair enough. Yo, when are we gonna go back to Motorfest? I'm actually not confident I'm gonna go back anytime soon, and I'm not intentionally staying away from it. But right now, I'm very happy with TSW and American Truck Sim. And the only thing that will come next, well, the only things that may come next would be Euro Truck or Sim Racing, or both. If we're being honest, I just don't see Motorfest coming back into the schedule at the moment. You know what, bro? Don't check. Don't check. Because if you go and check and it doesn't, then it means you start playing again. And then I'm going to feel like I should also start playing. My frames have disappeared, by the way. I don't know why or how. This can't be no shade at caching. Although, to be fair, I haven't touched this route in many, many months. It hasn't even come up. It did come up in a requester route actually 2 months ago though, or something. Oh no, did it not come up during the festive requester route? I think it did. Ugh, that stream, man. It was going so well. It was doing really, really well. And then the issue started.
This is Exeter St. David's.
I find it funny how a lot of these enhancements just add railway workers chatting away.
To London Paddington.
Thank you very much. So here's the breakdown about just going back to that conversation we were having earlier. So your objective, I guess, objective completed. Yeah, I'm with that. Look, correct cab setup, and when is this ever not applicable? Of course, it's applicable. Set up the cab correctly. For me, that's turn on any safety systems that need to be turned on. And I know safety systems have their own one, but nonetheless, part of it is setting up safety systems, headlights, train lights being on, if it's necessary to turn those on. Stops on time and accuracy. Here's the issue: it checks your accuracy, but sometimes the stop markers are in the wrong place, rendering this useless. Because maybe in reality, the stop marker is different than what the game is saying. And if so, either you go against reality, killing your immersion, or you lose your points. Coupling, hard impact. There should be more on the coupling, to be honest. Junction changes, I didn't even know that was a thing. Left vehicle unsafely, that's a good one. Oh yeah. When your fiber count comes, bro, you're gonna be good. You forget this game had announcements. Low key, bro. So did I. When I heard it at one of the stations just now, that was when I was like, oh, straight away my mind went to the mod that I have installed. I completely forgot they're actually in the base game. It never detects you leaving the vehicle unsafely. I would not know, man. I've never paid attention to that. As a matter of fact, that's my first ever time actually acknowledging that it's there. Oh, to spice things up with my journey mode run on here, I was doing one day I'd do the Voyager, one day I'd do the Riviera, one day I'll do the Voyager, one day I'll do the Riviera. Because I'm thinking to myself, how do I have 9 services done there? Like, oh, I've almost finished it. That would be why. Okay, this one is in April. Could be windy. April is very 50-50 when it comes to weather in the UK. It's like the transition period from mostly bad weather to mostly decent weather. I do like this station modeling, I'll be honest. I like it. Would have been nice to see this doing an ECS move. I would like to see an enhancement mod do more than just add people working, though. I feel like they used to be really good back in the day. And they still help, but not to the same effect. The Bill was chatting crap about... The Bill, there's not even a need to. Oh my god. What the hell was that? There was something at the bottom of my cup. Goodness me. I keep her updated on what you do and updated, and you updated in what she does. Pardon me. Have there been any interesting developments in her storyline? Guess who's watching? I don't need to guess. I don't need to guess. Updates. I'm an easygoing guy, Dad. Yeah, I'm either driving trains or driving trucks. Either driving trains or driving trucks. Nebo, check your Discord DM in like 15 seconds. I genuinely thought this was like a Lidl. You just saw the top of the blue sphere, or the blue semicircle. Lidl bag. Am I thinking of Lidl or am I thinking of IKEA? I don't know. One of them. In the mayor cabinet. I swear she was in it like way before, like even before Danny came into her life. Still can't drive. That is sensation. That is sensational. At this point, she better never learn to. There was the weirdest like looking spider this morning. It looked weird. It behaved weird. I had a friendly jumping spider here that just disappeared one day. Like it was here for like a week and it would just roam around my ceiling. Like it wouldn't do anything but just walk around the ceiling, just up and down, back and forth for a week. And then it just disappeared. I guess it finally found its way down. But it was a cool fellow. I don't mind jumping spiders, they're cute. But I hate all the other ones. My opinion on this train, I like it, I enjoy it. I actually like how many buttons it has in front of me. Like I like all of these buttons and they're colourful. I know I sound like a child, but I think that looks cool. I think it sounds good, I like the announcements. I like its versatility. In that it's fun driving at lower speeds, but it's also fun driving at 100 miles an hour. I like it. I like the cab in general. I think it's got quite a cool cab. I like the neutral colours. Would like if it had a bit more functionality and like the screens and stuff, but that's down to it being how it is implemented in the game as opposed to the train itself. But yeah, man, pretty cool, all in all. What's your opinion of it? So I can try and understand your angle when you ask me a question like that. It's similar to the Javelin. It is very similar to the Javelin. Very similar, yeah. Which, funnily enough, happens to be another train that I quite enjoy driving. I wish there was a general mod for the seat. For it to just look good under any sort of weather. What do you think about what I said on DM? Does it make sense? When seat settings. I mean, you know what, bro? On some trains, it's there. On some trains, it's there, man. But as per usual, it's just not something that's consistent. I need to book a hygienist. I think it annoys me now a little bit, you know. Just for the simple fact that but I think it's not the thing itself that annoys me. It's the character that you'll be one way in one environment, and then in another environment where you think nobody's watching, you're a different way. A hygienist, basically the people who will like clean up your teeth. I've been needing to do it for a while. It just costs quite a bit. The thing is, it costs quite a bit, but I can get the money back. So realistically, I should just do it. I'm gonna do it now. I don't know if you can do it online. They have a comprehensive hygiene service, but it's £175. But I think it would be good, and I can get the money back, like I said. So, oh, not paying attention. Yeah, and I need my teeth to be sorted out, just in terms of the like stains. They're not bad, but they're there. And it's also been recommended to me a couple of times by dentists when I've gone to my appointment, so it seems like it would just be a good idea. Basically, Nabil, they clean the stains from your teeth, they whiten them a little bit. Just help on the visual side, basically. Hello, BBIAJ. £80 per appointment for me, half that up front as a deposit. Jesus. But what's that for, though? Is that for, like... Because I know different treatments have, like, different pricing. So, for example, if I was to just go for a... Like a... what's it? Like a filling, for example. That would cost me, like, £20, I think. A general checkup, I think, would also cost me £20. But then if I wanted to book a basic hygienist, I think it's 80 something, and a comprehensive one is 170. Yeah, it's because you keep liking it and sharing it, Nabil. The algorithm is seeing that you're enjoying it. This is great content for you, and so it keeps throwing it your way. I wonder if the tide changes. That would be a cool little detail. Overall teeth and gum care. Thing is, teeth and gum care, there's like, I'm sure if there's much more than just hygiene services. There's like, I don't know, these guys know how to make their money. I'm sure there's a lot of different types of services. But I think the comprehensive one is for me. I think you could get away with something like that like once every 5 years, probably. Maybe even longer. Thing is, growing up, I had a lot of tea. I say a lot, I mean, well, yeah, at least 2 mugs a day. For a long time. Then I started drinking coffee afterwards. So that those, just the liquids alone, have caused many a stain. And then you've got all the food, of course. Croydon all-inclusive holiday resort food. Croydon all-inclusive holiday resort food would probably include cats and pigeons. So are you perplexed about us calling it a Chinese, Nabil? Or like, what is it? It's just Chinese and Indian. Say like Turkish food, for example. We do a lot of Turkish food here, especially like just kebabs. British people love their kebabs. So we'll say Chinese. We'll say, oh, let's get an Indian. So we'll say Indian and Chinese, but we'll never say Turkish. We'll actually say Turkish food, Italian food. We'll never say Italian. But yes, it's very normal. Completely normal. This little section we just passed looks really cool. Should we not be on an 80 limit? Yeah, there we go. We crossed that a long time ago. How long's our train? To be fair. Fairly long, but not that long. I say it like as a person, but see, we don't think like that. Like instantly, it's just like, because that's it's literally British culture. Now, if somebody said, "Yo, let's get a Moroccan," I'm going to think kidnap. But when someone said, "Let's get a Chinese," "Let's get an Indian," you don't think twice. You know it's food. It's just like, it's normal. It's just normal. And it's not even a thing like I've never thought about it. It just becomes a part of your vocabulary. I've never thought about, oh, that's a bit weird. But you either say, let's get a Chinese, let's get some Chinese. What did you have yesterday? A Chinese. An Indian. There's a lot of things about us that's interesting. That's for sure. But these are one of the things that you need to know so that you can get your passport to be a British citizen. If you're gonna be on here claiming you're British, you need a passport. Things like that can't be weird to you. Nah, I'll tell you what, yeah. Listen, the one that I mentioned to you, yeah, bro. My friend put me on it back in like, it's been like probably 10 years, more than 10 years ago. It's still fire. Now, I don't get Chinese food every other week, yeah, but I've had it a lot of different times in different places. Nothing has been able to beat that. And it used to be super cheap as well. And for what you get, it still is. Although, to be fair, wherever you go, Chinese food, yeah, anywhere you go to get Chinese food, they will fill it. They will fill the container. It's like your mum. You go to a Chinese takeaway place, and it's like your mum serving you. They'll fill the thing. And then they'll close like the place that I go to, yeah. It's like you know, like the foily type of containers, and the lid is like card, bro. The lid is like, it's like this because the food's pushing up against it. It's great. It's wonderful. Actually, genuinely, I've seen children working many a time. No cap. I used to see it more so when I used to do food deliveries and I'd be going to the different places. Nice. When you see a child working there and the menus haven't been changed since 2003, that's when you know the place is good. And it gives me confidence, man. And it's the same thing with chicken shops. If you see that the things, all the menus and stuff are looking crusty, then you know you're in a good place. I accidentally went into emergency just then. I hope that doesn't cause us problems. Newton Abbot isn't usually this empty. They still haven't fixed this. NPCs just walk right through. Although the question is, where are the NPCs? Have they broken this route? They've broken this route, bro. There's no NPCs anywhere. What a joke. Oh no. 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 Bro, what? Why is there an invisible wall there? AI generated voice as the voice of Max. Lost. Witness his journey back home. Okay. Never seen a Chinese with a TV menu. Neither have I, bro. Neither have I. Them don't know how to use their money wisely, man. Who needs a digital screen when you can have everything there in paper? Never needs to change. Pay less electricity for your bill. Don't spend money on a fancy screen. I don't think digital screens have increased McDonald's profits. really need to go to the toilet. These announcements do not piss you off, bro. They're actually not bad. You're just waffling. And your waffling is what's pissing me off right now. Hello, Stance Lover. Do the horn. Bro, it's copper. You invest into copper, my friend. You invest into copper and let me know how it goes. Mr. Carter, thank you very much for your raid of 26 people. Raiders, hope you enjoy the pleasure and the honor of being in a Carter stream. Carter, I hope you had a great stream, my man. We are playing the Riviera line today. Currently doing a bunch of IET / Class 800 services. Oh, hello. Thank you very much, Surf, for the follow. Appreciate you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome on board. It was a great stream. Amazing. Honestly, mate, it was a Carter stream. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Oh, did you? How are you finding it? How are you finding it? I said it earlier. I didn't know if you had bought it or not. So I said earlier, I hope you raid me first today, so that you can, you know, watch gameplay and then decide on whether you want to go for it or not. But you've beaten me to it, so how was it? Oh, you haven't played it yet? Oh, okay. So how did you spot me then? Where were you? Oh, you're on TSC? Oh, have you got it working? So you've got it working now? Okay, did you do anything specific or did it just change its mind? As technology likes to do every so often. Ah, interesting. Okay, and how do you direct it? Do you just copy, you find where that DLL file is and you just copy it to the right place? Or do you do it through the Third Rails app? And it's only going to get more ridiculous, Nabil. Through the app. Okay, I'll have to explore that then. Of course, I would find out how to do it only when I finish playing the game. But I don't think my playtime has ended with it just yet. I'm sure there's still a lot more to come. I'll probably run the game after the stream just to fix that issue, because I know by the time I actually start playing again properly, I won't remember this. I won't remember this. See, this is the kind of information I need. You know, break it down to me like I'm a child. Okay, I've taken a picture. Thank you. I did, Nabil. And I was just reading through the comments before like finishing the video, and I seen everyone orgasm over the pantographs. And I didn't really understand why. And then I put two and two together and noticed, and realized like there was no pantograph action before. 2.5k. Yeah, but SCR has always been the game with more players. It's always been the more popular one. I don't really understand why. I don't know whether it's been around for longer. I don't know whether maybe it's the variety. But I know in terms of a more realistic experience, it's a no-brainer between it and British Rail. It's been around for way longer. That alone could be the only reason. People don't really like change. They find the game that works for them. And there's like progression, right? So imagine you've been playing that game for years. You've been leveling up, bought trains, bought routes. Why would you leave all of that for a new game? Yeah, see, 5 years is a long time, man. 5 years is a long time. And so SCR was around during COVID, whereas British Rail wasn't. That alone is a huge... Well, I would speculate that alone is a huge reason for the numbers being so imbalanced. Well, I know you needed to get age verification for voice chat, but now you need it just to type in the chat box as well. Not the smoothest stop.
This is Totnes.
It's now for chat as well, Jesus.
This is a Great Western
Overall, it's a good
Railway
thing.
service too.
Overall, it's a good thing. But there's always going to be workarounds, number one. And number two, unless not being age verified would stop you from it, like going into certain games, then it won't really make a difference. Because if I was worried for my child's safety, of course the interactions alone would be a huge part of my concern. But then you look at some of the games that are there, and then I also would not want my little child playing there. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a step in the right direction, but there's definitely still work to be done. Okay. Well, what if I just had like a little cousin I wanted to play with? So I can't even just talk to my little cousin? Or even my child. What if I allowed my child to go on Roblox, and I want us to have a little session together? So it's just impossible. Like I said, they're going in the right direction. There's still a lot of work to be done, but at least they're doing something. Because for a long time they've just rested on their laurels, and even when problems have popped up, they've just been they've had an attitude of, oh well. straight express to Plymouth now. The AI that scans your face sometimes mistakes your age. Bro, no AI is going to tell you your age. It can be in a range of 5 or 10 years. So use an AI for face verification. The only thing they can get from it is maybe whether somebody's an adult or not, perhaps. But to get your actual age, absolutely not. Because there are people that look super young that are not young at all. And then there are people that don't age gracefully. So how do you get around that? The only thing it would be good for would be for just saying, okay, this person's an adult or not. Even then, still risky. And those technologies still need a long way to go because people were bypassing, when the UK brought down the adult content restrictions, people were bypassing it with like game characters. When this UK adult content restriction happened, within like a month, there was a leak, and they all say, "Oh, we don't keep your data; it's just used to verify your age," and then we instantly, erase the data. It's not stored. Yeah, right. I must have a trunk on my forehead. It's the only way we'll be living in that same reality. Generally speaking, though, I've borderline just given up on like having faith that anything of mine is secure. I don't trust a single company that says they don't store data. There is so much money, so much money in the selling of it. Oh yeah, you don't. You really don't. I like to say ignorance is bliss, and it genuinely is. But in this situation, it really is. It really is. It's better that you'll be at peace when going about your day every day than have that concern on your mind. You also get a peace of mind from knowing that no one's got a reason to do anything with my with my data. Like if you're a big celebrity, for example, there's gonna be weirdos that will try some funky things. Apparently, even if you're not a big celebrity, but usually it's when you're a big celebrity. I mean, it's just sort of like a regular Joe. You just live your life, innit? Ain't got nothing to worry about. Unless you do. Yeah, so do I. So train, we've reached this bridge. Alright, either speed up and go above the speed limit, or slow down and fall below it. Where's my cruise control option? I'm sure this does have a cruise control. Bro, why is my WASD the mouse in this view? Huh? how does that make any sense? Bro, why? I'm on PC. Just my mouse does that, so that's it. Why do I need WSD to do the same thing? That doesn't make any sense. So DTG never wants to implement ETCS or what? Thank you very much, Road, for the follow. Welcome on board. Welcome to the stream. Bro, if they've had German trains and German DLC since, well, for the past 7 years, and they haven't implemented Ebula, please, what makes you think they will implement ETCS? Why? So many websites nowadays, when I want to buy some digital content, want to know so much, like first name, last name, address, sig. Yeah, honestly, I think it's for like billing to make sure that you haven't stolen the card, but at the same time, how effective really is that for that purpose? So there ends up being not really a need. And it's not like some government thing where you need, where it's important that you upload your correct details. So honestly, Carter, I personally don't see a problem with that. Console port made for controllers, which is fine. But then, what does that mean for me on PC? If I had a controller... I do have my controller plugged in. Let me plug it out and see. I was going to say, if my controller was plugged in, then fine. Yeah, it still does it, even with my controller plugged out. So, it doesn't make a difference. And if they really want to cater to consoles or people who play on controller, then how about add features that were good that they took away from the controller, such as the fast-moving camera. As you're being on a controller, you want to get a nice shot of a flyby with a high-speed train, but you can only move your camera at this speed. You can only move your camera at this speed. And it used to be that they had the fast camera, and they took it away. Why? It was in the game. It was fine. I don't believe it was causing any problems. It was a great little feature. If taking it away, whether it was by accident or through a bug or whatever, I never brought it back. Hello, Rogue. How are you doing? Really interested to see Simra on console. I'm interested to see the impact. I think it's going to be the same game. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really expecting anything to be different than what we have on PC. For me, the curiosity is about the impact it's going to have. And is it going to be long-term or short-term? Yeah, rather negative feelings. With regards to what, though, are we talking controller compatibility, which we already have in the game? Are you talking just like bugs, for example? So, ASR said last week, Carter, that it was a bit complicated, but basically what I understood from it was that it may be crossplay between Xbox console and, was it Microsoft PC or something? I don't know. So like if you have the game on Steam, for example, there won't be crossplay with Xbox players. That was how I understood it, but he wasn't completely sure of it, it seemed. And so ultimately I wait. Anyone can say whatever they want. I wait until I see it officially declared or confirmed. Otherwise, it's all just speculation and rumors. So I'm expecting, if they say crossplay, I'm expecting actual crossplay. Whether you're on Xbox, Steam, whatever, I'm expecting complete crossplay. If it's not, that needs to be communicated from as early as possible, I think. So Nabil, if there's complete crossplay and there's a ton of players that start playing, I say a ton, let's say tens tens of players start regularly playing the game, and then that then impacts, or maybe that release also impacts PC players. Maybe it brings the game to their knowledge if they didn't know before. Maybe it just reminds them if they haven't played the game in some years. So if we see an increase in players from both sides, but even if just from the console side, servers become a little bit busier, that alone would have a positive impact enough for me to feel positive about the game. Because a big part of the experience not being great right now is that you go online and it's just a bunch of bots. Which I'm very thankful for, by the way, because imagine the services were just player services. Ho ho! Jesus. That brings me shudders, just the thought. I mean, it would bring me back to the game, Nabil, to at least try it again. The vegetation update. I'm not sure what else comes with it though. I know ASR mentioned a few things, but it didn't seem certain. Cardar, it's a complaint I've been making for like over a year. That was why, so I don't know if sometimes you've seen me say to ASR, or even Nabil has said it before. Place me any, except Warsaw Central. Place me anywhere on the map and ask me where I am. My guy, I could be at the most southern part of the map. I could be on the most west side, the most north side. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because it all looks the same. Mostly the problem is with vegetation, mostly. But then even if it wasn't vegetation, sometimes you'll see like some houses on the countryside here and there. They too all look the same. So even if you were to place me by an array of houses in the countryside, even then I still wouldn't be able to tell you where I am. And you know what? No player would be able to tell me where I am. You give me the person who's played Simrel the most, someone of 20,000 hours. It's not possible, but still, they wouldn't be able to tell me where they are if I just plop them somewhere on the map. So, any time that's argued, it's just silly. It's because it's a fact. This is not subjective. This is not my opinion. If all we had in the game, in TSW, were these vans, that was it. No cars, no trucks. Nothing else, just those vans. You cannot tell me that would be a crappy experience. That's not subjective, that's fact. It should have more varied assets, absolutely. Auto-gen or not. Auto-gen or not. So when you're now driving a railway where 85%, 90% of your journey takes place in the countryside, how can the game not feel boring and repetitive? Give me whatever service you want to give me. Even some line side buildings are all the same. They're all the same. Even the usage of NPCs, they're all the same. I mentioned this last week. Anytime you see workers, it's 3 workers. One is drinking Coca-Cola, one is on the phone, and I think one has a hammer. And they're not doing anything, they're just standing around. Everything is repetitive. Everything. Me too, Kardar. Me too. And that's why for the next VOD update, I have no desire. I have no. Let me not say a desire. Let me use the word excitement. I have no excitement for it. I did for the first one, and I saw what that brought, and it was nothing except more mileage, which is good, but. And it's funny because we criticize TSW a lot, but the reality is, even on a route can take 20 minutes from end to end, right? That's one of the complaints with TSW, is that a lot of the routes are short. No problem, that's completely valid. But at least within that 20 minutes, I can tell. I can look around and see I am not where I started. I've actually gone from some place A to another place B. In Simro, you could travel for 3 hours. 3 hours. And you if somebody blindfolded you from start to finish, you'll take off the blindfold and see that you haven't moved. You'll think that you're still where you started. Yeah, that as well, Nabil. That as well. ASR's got an excuse for that, for why that is, but I don't buy into that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it took so long to come, and within that time, you couldn't have added that. Because the only grand place at the moment is Warsaw Central, and Warsaw Central is not grand. It's just when you compare it to everything else, it's a monument. So it would have been really nice to have that station. It would have been really, really nice. And I believe that would have brought some... Would they have brought some subway action as well? Or are all the platforms above ground? Anyway, either way, it would have been nice to have in the game. Subs are 35% off for my during my streams for the next, well, till the end of January at least. So if you've ever been put off by the pricing, this month is the time. You can't turn yourself around. Okay, that's fine. So why not just make that an end place then? Why not just have that be the end of your run, and then when the AI, for example, turns your train around, as in without actual shunting, but the AI just says, okay, now I'm gonna go back to here, then you can now select that service again and continue your run. What if it's got a glass roof? That's not underground. Stuttgart has a glass roof. I really need to get this coffee out of my bladder. 5 miles, we can do this. Who knows? It's CSW. 5 miles could really be 20. Okay, yeah, please do. That's not underground. That's not underground. It's just a... It just has a canopy over it. A glass canopy or a glass roof. I'm talking underground, like the Frankfurt Underground, for example. Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof has underground stations. There's a tunnel leading to it. No problem. They can just end it before the tunnel. There are 0 actual terminuses in the entire game. So what difference would this one make? Oops. What do you mean? As in that's why it should be referred to as as underground, for example. Yeah. Well, yeah, if it was underground, it would be under. But that's the whole point, bro. Underground, under the ground. It's not under the ground. It has a glass roof to which you can see the sky. It's not under the ground. If the tunnels leading to it are underground, then yeah, that's fine. But that is the underground section, not at the station itself. Stuttgart 21. Yeah, please do. Bro, to me, it's very simple. Under the ground. You can't be under the ground if land is not above you. You can't be underground and see the sky. I disagree. I disagree that that's underground. Perhaps it could be a station along an underground. For example, let's say, okay, on the London Underground, there can be there's open areas. I'm not talking about the open sections. When a train's actually running underground, there are times when some stations are open. So I'll give you an example. On the District line and Circle line, there's a station called Sloane Square. So the train actually comes from a tunnel into Sloane Square, where it's open. You can see the sky. You're not underneath the ground. That station is open. But then, as it continues its journey, it goes back into a tunnel, back into an area that is under the ground. So it's an underground line, but the station itself isn't underground. When you're at that station, you're on the platform. You're not underneath the ground. How did I not slow it down fast enough? I feel like the brakes were on quite.
We are now approaching
They were felt quite sticky, and then they just stopped. Also, I'm not getting rain on the windscreen. Like, it's raining, but I'm not getting any on the windscreen. That's a bug. Whether that's caused by a mod or not, can't confirm. Did I see what I thought I just saw? No. It looked like there was a specific part of that bridge where there was water like dripping down. So you know when it rains, if a building's like sloped or something, there'll be like a corner of it where there's just water. There's a constant flow of water. That's what that looked like. I would have been very impressed. I would have been very impressed by that. I think those two trains are going to couple up to each other on platform 5.
This is Plymouth.
The KTL scenarios. This is my first time hearing of that, Cardar. What are they? And for what games? For what game? The German Railway Construction and Operating Regulations. A station is legally underground if the tracks, platforms, or passenger areas are located inside the ground and covered by earth or structures. So, okay. So, a station. So, let's say a station on this line. A station on this line, its architecture meant that it was covered by. Okay, so like Stuttgart 21, it was covered by structure, and there was a glass. It had a glass ceiling. So according to that, that's an underground station. Why are you so quick? I wanted to give you guys something to watch while I go away to the bathroom, but they're done. For TSW6, he posted them on Trace and Community. It's for WSR, but it's so slow but hard and not the typical go from A to B. Okay, let's have a little gander then. I'm not usually one to go for scenarios at all. At all. I haven't done so since TSW2. It'd be here, right? Where's our WSR? Am I in the wrong place? Not here. Pack file scenarios. Oh, snap. It's by Rob. Okay. I have to get into the office. Huh. You skipped the first one. Has he got any more? Okay, he's got a transparent sky. Okay. Okay. I'm happy to give it a download. And I think maybe it could work on the modded timetables stream. What? When did you try and contact the announcer, Nabil? I actually have spent no time here, you know. I wonder how many good runs there are here. Probably worth exploring at some point. Thank you, Carter, for bringing that to my attention. I'm sure there are a lot of gems. A lot of hidden gems there. Ah, right. There's not much there's not much there to defend, if we're being honest. There's really not much there to defend. Oh, it was a little bit of snow. Why not?
TPWS and AWS operational.
Whoops. I didn't even know there was a buzzer here. Oh, the snow has stopped. Cool. While we wait for the timer, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Hopefully come back on time, ready to move. 15 seconds off, not too bad. The DSD was there to keep you guys awake. I love the reflection on the windscreen of the buttons.
Welcome aboard this great
I love the
Western
Starry Night too.
service to London Paddington. We'll be calling at Ivy Bridge, Totnes, Newton Abbot, Tyndall, Exeter St David's,
Hopefully I don't get negative points, Nabil, for not
Carey, Westbury,
leaving the train safely.
Reading, and London Paddington.
How does it make sense now that those reflections have gone? I was planning on enjoying them. I just realized this is like early morning as well. Hopefully we get a nice sunrise. This is set in, was it November? Or am I making that up? I don't know. I think it was November. 6:38. We should get a nice sunrise. It's nice and clear as well. We should get a beautiful sunrise. Hopefully the weather holds up. Oh my god, I still need to sort out a soundboard. I completely forgot about that one. Can you DM me soundboard again, please, Nabil? So I can hopefully try and remember to do some research on that. Yeah, I can see the sky starting to light up just a touch. To be fair, I might actually turn off this light as well. And then properly appreciate the sun coming up. Thank you, Nabil. Hopefully that helps. I've realized even that sometimes doesn't do much. Like Jack said, I told Jackson to message me the word poll. Nice, an HTTP service. I told Jackson to message me the word poll. And then I opened it by accident, but then I just completely forgot about it until I mentioned it earlier today. Oh, whoa, whoa. It's 1:34. Where's time gone? I started this stream earlier because I wanted to give myself, well, give the stream like more time. How? Whoa. Fortunately, that still just about fits within our time, this run. So it's just over an hour. Wow. How many runs have we done? I think this is the third or fourth. They've all been about an hour. So it should be the third, to be fair. Sorry, I did. So they added new announcements for the station announcer and SCR, announcing stuff like platform changes, so they're still in touch with the real person. Insane. So they've got that going on. And then you've got certain mod authors for TSW and TSC coming up with the excuses that they're coming up with. It's good to see the possibilities. The thing is, it's one thing doing it for fictional locations, and those announcements not existing in the real world anywhere, and there's no copyright attached to them, no nothing, no ownership, nothing to be worried about. And isn't this another thing to do it as per reality? Which is probably why they've decided to use AI in the first place. Just realized OBS is on version 32. Probably the highest version of software I've ever seen. Until TSW reaches that. I wish there was more of a... I don't know if this is going to make sense. So you know with the suspension physics, you can tell that the train's moving around. But there's nothing to say that your driver's moving around. There's nothing to say that the seat is moving around, if that makes sense. It's like you're a solid mass and the train is moving around you. It would be nice to have some sort of seat bounce. Windows Standard TTS voice. Surprised that wasn't done before. Yeah, that is also a choice that, you know, some have taken. Sorry, some have made to simulate the bounce. I even regretted doing it last week. I wish I didn't do that. Because now if somebody asks me, have I ever done that? The answer is yes. Gotta work with what you have, I understand, but there's levels. There's levels. Like, imagine I'm playing a game with my character. Imagine I'm playing GTA 5. And when I eat food in GTA 5, my character doesn't make any, like, eating noises. So whenever my character eats, I then sit here and go, mmm. There's levels. At some point, you start bordering the line of insanity, I think. If you do that while driving a pacer, I don't think there'll be much of your seat left by the end. Okay, maybe we'll have this light on for now. Can't even find it. And then when the sky gets a little bit brighter, I'll turn it off. The thing is, it is getting brighter, but obviously you've got to be looking directly at where the sun's gonna rise from. I don't know how much it's gonna show on stream, but there's very obviously a bit of a pink hue going on there. And then just nothing over here. It's all got a moon brightly illuminating things. I've got the map. I've had the map combo I've had the map combo working since last week when I first installed it. But yeah, after yesterday's changes, Jesus, I went on it again. Didn't drive, but I loaded in to the game, and I loaded in fine. I can open the map and look around fine. I don't know if I did that yesterday though, but I know I did it before. So yeah, everything should work well, but I guess ultimately we find out tonight. Yeah. I was also looking at some trucks. There are a lot of trucks available in the workshop. It's actually not hard to do trucks. Now, are they going to be as good as maybe the other ones that are external? Probably not. But nonetheless, if you just happen to get bored of what's already there, it's not a difficult process to add some more content. Although the question still remains whether those trucks will show up in quick drive jobs or not. I don't think they would. Okay, it's good that it didn't include it in your final evaluation. I have had a lot of bad experiences with invisible walls. I think if I see any, it will put me off in a big way, in a big way. There was one combo I had within the last couple of years, so it was fairly recent. It was a ETS2 combo, and I had everything in the right order according to the guide. And I was driving in the UK, and it was just invisible wall after invisible wall after invisible wall. Like, it was on the motorway. I'd hit one, teleport forward, hit another one, teleport forward, hit another one. And even in that, there would be like 5, 10, 15 minutes between all the walls. And then it got to a point where it was like every few minutes. And then I just didn't play the game again for that entire version. You don't think they do? Fair enough, yeah. Then for me, especially with the economy mod, there's no point. Yeah, no. If there were invisible walls, your whole truck would have been damaged. So it was just some, I don't know, funniness with the terrain, perhaps. Really, Carl? The invisible walls on like the base game, not mods or like a third party, some third party content. I didn't get it. Wait, what are we talking about? Are you talking about the bus?
We are now approaching Ivy.
I saw this very late, but just in time at the same time. I never had invisible walls on the bus. Or am I forgetting a specific situation? It's a game from 2013. I've got no idea what you're talking about. From 2013. Why are you laughing at me? What are you talking about? I haven't got a clue. Oh, this is this one. I haven't got a clue. From 2013.
This is
The only game I know that came out in 2013 was GTA 5.
This is a Great Western Railway service to London Paddington.
I'm not joking. What are we talking about? Yeah, a bus game from 2013 that had invisible walls. The bus came out. It's not the bus. It's not OMSI. It's not Fern Bus. Are you talking about OMSI? OMSI came out in 2010. Or was that the first one? But aren't the invisible walls just on like when you have mods installed? Are you talking about the first OMSI? I have no idea about invisible walls on the first one. I played the first one. I never encountered that though. But I just played the base map. OMSI 2 don't. OMSI 2 don't what? OMSI 2 doesn't have invisible walls? You lot are frying my brain. I've come here to have a chill drive and a chill chat, and you're just cooking my brain. I've told you, in the last 2 days I've had 6 hours of sleep, and that was all last night.
Welcome aboard this Great Western Railway service to London Paddington. We'll be calling at Totnes, Newton Abbot, Teignmouth, Dorset.
Even the fact that some routes have the invisible walls, I just found that out in the during the last time I was playing it, when for some reason the setting that turns off collisions turned itself on, and I just kept bumping into things. I had no idea what was going on. Like, I'm just driving on the road, and then there's just crash noises and passengers complaining. Oh, I thought OMSI 2 came out in 2010, but I guess that was the first one. Even the fact that settings turn themselves on, Cardar, is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I've never heard of such a thing on any other game. OMSI 1 in 2011. I wonder why they couldn't just build on the foundation of OMSI 1. Like, why did there have to be an OMSI 2? Yeah, I almost wonder what the point of its existence was. If development continued, we would have something incredible in our hands, honestly. Well, that's the best case scenario, isn't it? Who knows? Maybe there's a world where there's a universe where the devs wanted to only have like in-house content, and so they made it not possible to mod your own buses and maps. But if they remained good guys, I don't think there would ever be the existence of the bus. Like, it would be such a game that there would be no point in even trying to compete. I mean, you're a small dev. You know, you want to get your game out there. You don't really know how you're going to do that. I can see why it happened. But it's just ironic that it's basically the best thing with the Aerosoft name on it. You think so? Surely not. I just mentioned the nuclear stuff. Good to see it actually in the timetable. That's sick. I literally mentioned that like on the last run. Or is it on the first one? Maybe it was the first one. That's very, very cool to see. Yeah, completely valid, card. I was just saying, I think before the raid, we were talking about it, and I was saying even if the performance is sorted out, the content is still very much lacking. So at most, I would play it once a week. At most. Realistically, it'd probably be once, maybe once every couple of weeks. But there's just not enough going on, even with the random events. And the random events are very cool, very, very cool. But it's just not enough to really give any longevity to the experience. Aerosoft was getting all of the money. That's crazy. They do not deserve it at all. Or do they? Or do they? Like, without them, would we have mods and all the content we've seen? All the DLCs? I don't think so. If the devs have actually really put their hands up and said, not involved with this anymore, then I do wonder. Also, why did they both have to leave it? Why did they both have to leave the game? Why couldn't one of them leave? Whoever was angrier, why couldn't they leave? And then let the other one continue development? Maybe bring in some other guys. Fair, but then what platform would the DLCs have been sold on? Oh, no, Card is true. I'm not confused about then like the game not developing. I completely understand why, but I'm just thinking why couldn't, because there was two guys, they fell out, and they both left the game. But why? Why not whoever had a problem leave and still claim some income because it was a project they both worked on? And then the other person that stayed can continue developing the game, hire some other people. You can also publish through Helicon or through yourself. Okay, as how would that work though? Like, how do DLCs find their way onto Steam? If I myself made a DLC for OMSI 2, how would I get it on Steam? Without going through Aerosoft one way or another. Via Steamworks. Okay, so Aerosoft have nothing to do with that. So in that case, then, are you saying that anyone can make any DLC and like how? I don't understand. Why can't I do that on why can't I do that on TSW, for example? I can't just make my own DLC for TSW and put it on myself. So why can't I do that for OMSI? I believe so, Carter. They're the publisher. So it would make sense, as I understand. You would have to go through them. It's their game technically. It's a game that they're publishing. So whether you're Helicon, whether you're your own person, whatever the case, can't just go and slap your own rubbish and your own slop on a title as like an official piece of content. Why doesn't that signal show on the HUD? Because we passed it earlier and I noticed it didn't show up. what role do Halicon play with Omzi 2? Not DLCs. What power do they have over the game? Okay. But Halicon would have to go through Aerosoft
We are now
still
approaching Totnes.
to release their DLCs. The only good work that they're doing. They were close to continuing that with Subway Sim 2. What a sad story of that game, man. So much potential. It's always the same thing. Potential.
This is Totnes. This is a Great Western
That game is
Railway
better
service
not
to
spoken
London
about.
Paddington.
YouTube is a little bit weird. 17%. So basically 17 people. Also. Why was it showing the right side doors as open? I thought I just was being a muppet.
Welcome aboard this Great Western Railway service to London Paddington. We'll be calling at Newton Abbot, Teignmouth, Dawlish, Exeter St David's, Tiverton Parkway, Taunton, Castle Carey, Westbury, Pewsey, Bedwin, Newbury, Reading, and London Paddington. The next station is
Ah, right. I mean, you always have to be suspicious, I guess. Like because I'm an ambassador, if somebody criticizes what I say, or basically, it's good to vet certain people, especially if people have reasons to be biased. It's good to vet them. It's because I don't go I don't go shouting it from the rooftops. I just feel like it would be a bit weird. I think if there are certain times when I think it's important for me to declare that. But for example, if I was to just have it in my title, or put the ambassador logo somewhere on the screen. For me, that would feel very, very vain. You know, it would be like, hey, look at me. You know, I don't know. It'd feel a bit weird, I think. No shade at those who do that. It's just not for me personally. I'm 100% Carter. 100%. 100%. Because every time I've looked at that, I thought, And honestly, I just skip. Because I don't know the person. They might be the most truthful person in the world. I don't know, but because I don't know them, I can't trust that particular review. There are others, Nabil. There are others that do that. Multiple others. And you know what? Honestly, maybe it works for views and clout. But, you know, you brought it to my attention on what potentially would have been, or sorry, potentially could have been my most popular stream. And I didn't do it. At the same time, that could be a completely foolish decision. But yeah, it's what it is. Did the AWS go off for the temporary speed restriction? Because the signal is green unless it had just changed as it came into view. I think it is. That's pretty cool. Although it's literally over a mile away. I mean, Nabil, I don't think riddles help you much, I'm not gonna lie. The ace of a certain country, really. Talking about the tiny niche of train sim content creators. At that point, just talk to me Moroccan, man. the only real code we have is Darija. BBIAJ, thank you very much for the follow, my man, or my girl. Welcome on board. Hope you're doing well. I don't know what's wrong with my humor, man. I've been watching Rick and Morty again lately. This time with the wife, which I think is very, very cool. And it's just the dumbest thing ever, man, but it's so funny. But it's the dumbness that's funny. There are certain times when something's meant to be funny and I just don't find it funny. But it's just the stupidness of it. My only so the mod with the wave splashes, as I understand it, all it's meant to do is cause the wave splashes on the seawalls in heavy winds. That's it. That's all it's meant to do. So if you set, so for example, you go into the route, set wind on the highest via God mode, or if you use if you use this mod, then you see you can do manual weather, and again just set the wind super high, and then just do a drive and see. Make it rainy, I guess. Just make a thunderstorm. Precipitation high, wetness high, wind high, and see. What previous comment? What mod? What mod are you referring to? Oh my, bro! I didn't even realize. I didn't even see that. I completely missed that message. Even though I don't use a feature that's TSR modules. I mean, you will know. It will look better to you being German. Although to me, it did look cool with like the flashing lights, for example. I don't think the default default TSW TSRs have any flashing lights on them. I hope he makes like realistic ones wherever applicable. I don't actually know how realistic the UK ones are, but if they are lacking anything, I do hope he tends to them, and the US ones as well, which again, I actually have no idea how badly or how well they've been implemented. The default one, yeah, I thought as much. I don't even know if I've seen them. I know I saw the UK one. No idea if I've seen the German one. As I don't want to be so critical, but as you would expect, realistically, this is indeed shaping up to be a beautiful morning run. And judging by the amount of leaves on the trees, I don't think this is November. But then sunrise being at this time, I don't know. It's not giving me autumn vibes. Or maybe it's just good because of how dark it is. I rather connect to the rail. Connect to the rail how? That would seem a little dangerous. See, this is the issue. I need to check my DM, so now I'm not going to see the soundboard message. You see the dilemma here? We talk too much on Discord for that to be helpful. Oh, to the magnets. Okay. That makes a lot more sense than being... Oh, okay. Okay. I was thinking somehow like it attached to the part where the wheels run on. Hello there, ASR. How are you doing? Little bit of an overrun, minor.
This is Newton Abbot.
Similar next week, indeed. Indeed.
This is the Great Western Railway service to London Paddington.
We shall see how it goes. I'm prepared to play it once and go from there. I don't trust it to be a banger, because if I now schedule it for multiple days and I don't like it when I come back to it, or there are problems or some reason for me not wanting to play it, I'm going to be in a bit of a pickle. You have to acknowledge them like a normal... What just happened? You have to acknowledge them like a normal speed change. If they're attached to the magnet, but not if they're attached to just the rail, right? I mean, what day does it release, ASR, exactly? It will be the day after the release. I will not do it on the day of release. It will be the day after. And so hopefully that would give time for any minor issues or hiccups to be sorted out. Update on Wednesday. Okay, so then it would be Thursday. It would be Thursday morning. That's why they usually place them next to already existing magnets or signals that have magnets anyway. Yeah, that does make a ton of sense. Hello JFK, how you doing, mate? Been a while. CD163 releases on Sunday. Well, in the ideal world, I would have a blast with it on Thursday and then get my hands on the DLC and then have a blast with it the following week. You always have to acknowledge them. They're not really connected to the magnet by itself. And so if you don't acknowledge it and it's only attached directly to the rail and not a magnet, will a Zhuang Bremsung occur? Similar update, JFK. Yeah, my camera died. I just realized that my phone hasn't been plugged in. So I would assume, without actually looking at my phone, that my phone has died. The battery's not great on it. The magnet is configured to the new speed change. No. If like in the second picture that you sent me, the boards are attached directly to the rail. If they're attached to the magnet, then yeah, of course. But if they're attached directly to the rail, how would the train know that you didn't acknowledge what should have been acknowledged? A vegetation update, JFK, which sounds very minor, but it's actually very much needed. And as I understand, everything else that we have heard is coming is speculation. I will bear that in mind, ASR. I'll bear that in mind. As a matter of fact, actually, it would be in the evening, because I would still play TSW. TSW or TS Classic would have to take place. That's the priority. I forgot about that again. So it'd be in the evening. So there you go. Problem solved. Or is it a problem solved? Because that means that I'll be driving in the evening. And if the sunset bug is still around, I'm not going to have a good experience. So therefore, it sounds like a catch-22 for you, Mr. Ambassador. Do the evening and see if the sun still appears. I will. If the sun still appears, I'll be honest, man. There can be 1,000 players playing. I will not be having fun. What a silly bug. Silly bug. Shunting would be very cool. I don't know why we still don't have it in the game. It would be very, very cool. Honestly, JFK, so do I. And I think so do a lot of others. Camera died again. Oh, I don't know about that one, not gonna lie. My phone's plugged in. It's charging. So, figure that one out once we come into Teignmouth.
We are now approaching Teignmouth.
The German and American route, mark my words, will never come. I say that with full confidence. They will never, ever, ever release. If SimRail was a priority for the devs and the team behind it, I'd have some confidence left, or some hope, let me say. I wouldn't be confident, but I'd have some hope. But if even Polish content is not a priority, let's be real here. Let's just be real.
This is Teignmouth. This is a Great Western Railway.
Turns out my phone did
service
die.
to
Nice.
London Paddington.
Not falling for the SimRail propaganda anymore. I feel like a fool for falling for it so many times. I'm surprised the false marketing is still active. That would add so much to the gameplay, JFK. Yes, it's cool running for 3 hours or 4. But to spice it up with a bit of shunting in the same service would be very cool. There's shunting in multiplayer. ASR, man. Depress me sometimes. AI trains sitting in sidings, wagons sitting in sidings. Imagine that. Imagine if there were just wagons here and there, rather than having every single siding completely bare.
Welcome aboard this Great Western Railway service to London Paddington. We'll be calling at Dawlish, Exeter St David's, Tiverton Parkway, Taunton, Castle Carey, Westbury, Pewsey, Bedwin, Newbury, Reading and London Paddington. The next station is Dawlish.
You add 2 trays on a Port Xbox series, that's probably explodes. Are you using that as an excuse for why there's no wagons in the game? Just trolling. No, you're not. You're not just trolling. You don't troll when it comes to SimRail matters. To be fair, JFK, they don't, which is important. It's important. They'll go a little bit away and then disappear in the track. I would hate to be posted at a station and just see a train just vanish in front of me. So I'm glad that they don't do it that way. I think that's important. But yeah, where applicable, where it would make sense to do what you've said, in that needs to be in the game, man. Otherwise, what are we doing? What are we really doing? I do know Tiger Ways, yes. He's a fellow ambassador. Stuttgart signalization is completely made up. So I've heard, but I don't know what that is, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Ignorance is bliss, I know. I'd rather remain not knowing. Although, to be fair, I've played through the route, I've played through the journey mode, so I don't have any reason to go there, but still. Knowing the trains go outside the map, while they're supposed to terminate in some stations. Okay, see, that's a problem. That I didn't know, and now I know. Bliss is no longer an option. Okay, that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Like, where are we going? Where am I driving this train to? If you drove it into like a shed or a depot and then the train just disappeared or whatever, I'd prefer that so much more. Oh, that's quite the claim, JFK. That's quite the statement. Although, I'm trying to think, where do I stand in that? You know what? If... Oh, man. Okay, let's say, hypothetically, that happens. They bring in shunting, which delays Vodge. However, Vodge comes with the terminus, with the terminating station. And so it means that you can do shunting on it. Then I completely agree. I would completely agree. I'm not a fan of that at all. Even if, for example, you drove the train to a siding after the station and then it disappeared, I'd be okay. It doesn't have to be a big shed or a proper depot. What also really bugs me is when I press Y or U to unlock doors or close them in this game, the button for it in the cab will be pressed multiple times. Why? Why does that need to... Like, it keeps getting pressed, it keeps getting pressed, it keeps getting pressed until the doors are closed. Why? I think I'm going to stop using keybinds for that. I try to manual wherever possible, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, where it's not possible, because, for example, a loco doesn't have the buttons for it, then it's fine. Because you use the keybinds, and you don't hear any buttons. There's no buttons for you to hear. So realistically, where possible, is all you need. Kenlicked is a little white light used to say signal turn off intentionally, and basically if it isn't on, signal is off, and then you're not using LZB, well, you can stop immediately. The signal as well as 40. Ah, okay. Well, I can see why it would be a bother to somebody who's knowledgeable. It seems quite... Well, I don't know this. Look, I don't code, but it sounds like it shouldn't be too hard to do something like that. You can send an electric train through a track without wiring and it still works. ASR, what have you got to say about this? Because there's a lot of noise about, oh, it's so cool that when there's two trains on the same area, the voltage, da 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 da. So what are we saying here? The game doesn't allow you to send trains on electrified tracks. No, but if it did, the train would just run, almost like TSW off the rails. Even TSW won't allow you to do that without being on off the rails mode. They randomly generate voltage. This is very interesting. This is quite the discovery, actually. Thank you, JFK. You've brought some important information here. You've brought us some very important information. There's no justification for it, ASR. I don't believe that there's a justification for it. If they've gone to the level of icing the wires, making it so that the voltage is, you know, goes down when there's another train in your area, if you're gonna go to that level of detail, at the very least, don't make it so that a train that needs power to run can run at that power in a sim of that degree. Again, this game has that down. If this game has that down, Simro has zero excuses. Game would still tell you to keep on driving and derail yourself. To me, that's fairly minor compared to the voltage thing. And again, a big part of it is that a game like this has that down. How's that when OHLE's missing train still runs like normal? Bro, you're talking about like a bug. You're talking about when it's bugged and the line isn't modeled. That's very different to then if I take any electric train and spawn it here and it's still running. You're talking about something, you're clinging onto strings quite hard there. Maybe it's defense. It's a multiplayer environment. You don't want to get into situations like that. Yeah, but Carter, for other situations, the game has the game is prepared for that. You go past a red signal, the game is prepared for that. You set a switch the wrong way as a dispatcher, you know, the game has a plan B for that. So there should be one for this too. That's not that. ASR, what are you getting at with that response? You can't go for personal attacks because someone has said something about a game. I know there were plans to make red signals not immediately teleport you and set you at 0 kilometers an hour. What does that have to do with anything?
We are now approaching Exeter St. David's.
Don't want to get done by TPWS.
This is Exeter St. David's. This is a Great Western Railway service to London Paddington.
I don't think you don't have to prove anything, JFK. I don't think you got to prove anything. Unless you want to make a point specifically to ASR. I think in such a situation, ASR, all you really need to say is that, yeah, hopefully that gets fixed or something, you know? There's nothing, like Nabil said, what are we arguing? It's a negative thing, it's a bad thing. It is what it is, you know? If you know, when TSW has modeling issues, I'm an ambassador for the developers of the game. Yeah, I can't say, oh, well, you see, that's because, this and that. Bro, missing OHLE, like you said, or just general bugs, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I can't sit here and defend that. I play the game 6 days a week. I'm clearly I'm a fan of some degree to the game, but I can't defend the indefensible. It's just not possible. Well, it's possible, but it would be very stupid. I would be a fool to sit here and say, actually, nerdy glasses emoji. I also made 2 trains crash into each other yesterday while testing both these. That I can't really mock. There's nothing for me to mock there. That's just, it's funny. Right, there's a guy streaming TSW6. He's got his face cam. It looks like he's putting in some effort into his stream. Let's give him a raid. Also, regards to subs, I'm basically doing a discount every time I stream between now and the end of January. So if you're going to sub, don't do it when I'm not streaming, because then you'll pay full price. So please wait until the stream has started, and then you can get a discount. Unless you want to just give Twitch your money, because it will make a difference to me. But Twitch will like it. Have a good one, Carter. Thank you very much for the raid once again. Thank you as well for the followers. BBIAJ, Rogue Squadron, Surf. Thank you very much for the follows, guys. Thank you for all the likes and subs on YouTube that I may have not seen as well. Stuart Bailey, thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much for the likes. Thank you very much for your time. Hope I've entertained you. We'll be back later on in about an hour and a half for some... Is it an hour and a half? I don't know. 5 p.m. GMT. I can't be bothered to do the maths. For some American truck sim with an even improved map mod combo. It's going to be sick. So be tuned in for that one. Show some love to Train Simulator TV 1. And I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day until I see you again. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe. Health is wealth. Until the next one. Peace out.